You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
"Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?"
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
after Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
"Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music."
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
"Hey, Meta, call Eva."
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by Carboni's.
Thanks, Carboni's Pizza. All right, Zacho, you're Chris.
No, I'm Zach.
No, you're Chris for this bit.
Yeah, you're Chris now. Oh. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Hockey. Welcome to the news. It's a wonderful day to be alive. All right. As the great Travis Tritt kind of said. All right. Pet food connected to a cat's death in Oregon is being recalled. Northwest Naturals has recalled 2-pound bags of its feline turkey recipe, raw frozen cat food. The recall came after a cat died from bird flu, and testing confirmed that the pet food contained the virus. The cat food was distributed in a dozen states, including the great state of Minnesota.
Pet food can have the bird flu?
Yeah, man. That sucks.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm confused, but whatever. I don't know.
Don't give your cat whatever Northwest Naturals are.
Hawk has Googled that before.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, he's paid for naturals.
Mm-hmm.
Of all directions.
Was
Not
he a
just
cat
Northwest.
food guy?
I think so. Sauce, how much to eat cat food?
Oh.
Like if I give you $100, would you have a spoonful?
No. It'd be
$120?
No. Wet or dry?
Sauce's choice.
I would bet the dry would be easier.
Yeah.
Well, then $120. Eat it.
No.
$125.
No.
$137.
No.
Is that your final offer?
Yeah.
Fine. $10,000.
Sure.
Great job by the folks at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport as travelers reported on Christmas Eve that they were pleasantly surprised to find minimal delays. Industry analysts predicted a 6% increase of Americans who were traveling over the holidays compared with last year. So great job, everybody at the airport.
I know this is not Christmas travel, but I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago, and Terminal 2 at the old MSP, first time in my life. 0 people in line at security. And I mean
Zero.
Really?
0.
Yeah.
I already had my mobile boarding pass, right? So there was no line to whatever, and I just got to carry on. It's Vegas. I don't check bags.
Right. Yeah.
Walked down the hall, went up the old escalator, didn't see a line, got in line, and then did the old snake back and forth. Went straight to the front, went straight through security. I was through security in under 60 seconds. The fastest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what just happened?
But your flight was full?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And where was everybody?
I don't know.
Now,
but zero people in line.
I had the same thing at Terminal 1 about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was an evening flight, and it was a sold-out flight. I think I was flying to Charlotte. But when I walked through at 6:30, I was the only one in security.
It's the greatest feeling. It feels like
a private
I feel like a VIP service.
Yeah, have you ever been, in like Best Buy will say, we're closing in 10 minutes. But then if you're in the store, they'll let you keep shopping because they hope you buy a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But whenever you're in a department store after hours, you're like, I'm not supposed to be
Correct,
here.
yeah.
That's how I felt walking through TSA.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
am I in the right spot? And I knew I was, but it feels weird, doesn't it?
Come on in.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but you know
just
what's a better feeling? The better feeling is when you walk in and you have clear, and there's no line for clear, and then everybody's standing in that snake line.
That's a great line. That's a great.
And you walk in and you are through security in under like 3 minutes, and you like, ha! All these poor people sticking around on this
$139 a year.
You gotta take your shoes off.
I keep telling myself I'm going to do that, but then the comeback is the place I travel to the most is Vegas, and Terminal 2 is never that long of a wait. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But to Ben's point, it's worth it for the one time where you're like, that line is enormous. Then it's worth it.
I don't know. I don't remember the last time I've had that.
I have pre-check, and I can't remember the last time I waited longer than 10 minutes.
Pre-check's better than clear.
The issue is, especially at our airport, is like there's so many people with clear now that it's just pick your.
Oh yeah.
You just pick whatever line is shorter. If you have pre-check and you have clear, it's like okay, I'll just go to the shorter line. But it is nice. My wife has clear as well, which means our kids have clear.
Oh really?
They get to go through clear with you.
If both parents or one parent, how does that work?
Both parents have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we both have clear, and so all three of our kids just stand in line with us. So they just like tap on the thing like 3 dependents. There you go.
Why can't I just be one of your dependents?
Stops when you're 18.
You're slightly older than 18.
I dress like I'm 12.
Yes,
that's true.
That is true.
I believe Sauce once said I dress like a teenage drug dealer.
You do.
You act like a 7th grader.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of this show. That's it's in the mission statement of the Power Trip Morning Show is to be as sophomoric as possible. What were we doing again? Oh, the news. Zachary.
Skiers who like cross-country racing are being vetted to enter a new competition along the north shore of Lake Superior. The Ski North Ultra will start and end at Cascade River State Park near Lutsen in March. The race offers 3 distances, and its 100-kilometer category makes it one of the longest cross-country ski events in the region. More information about the race is available on the Visit Cook County website.
That is something I can never relate to because as a kid that grew up at Wild Mountain in Taylor's Falls, right? First skiing, but then snowboarding. If I didn't ski right to the ski lift, the cross country skiing, especially on a snowboard, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When you have to basically skateboard just for hundreds of yards, it's like F this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would only pick runs where I could end right at the ski lift and almost ski right into line like there's nobody at TSA and go right back up the old chairlift.
Yeah.
Cross-country skiing sucks.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
Too much work, man. It's supposed to be fun.
Man.
Never done it.
Oh, cross-country skiing?
Yeah, I've never done it.
Oh, man.
Missing nothing.
It's a lot. It's a great workout, though.
Well, yeah, I've heard it's a great workout.
There's skate skiing and there's traditional. So traditional is just a very classic that you probably grew up thinking of cross-country, but skate cross-country skiing is a lot of work. You move pretty fast. So Highland Park down in Bloomington, if you ever really want to take it up, go rent some skis. You can take a shot in the trails.
My kids get a ski lesson today.
Good chance to take it out. Get your own, take a shot.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about, I know this is a whole Bargatze bit on SNL, but how do you guys feel about using the old system versus what we do now? Because this is in kilometers, right?
Yeah.
This race is in kilometers. And I know that we have 5Ks and we have we do a smattering of both. Mm-hmm. I kind of like it. I kind of wish we would adopt the old English system. Or basically what the rest of the world does.
I would only agree with you if you could make me 3 years old again and start over and just learn it.
Right.
Because now I'm ingrained. Yeah. I'm not interested in getting my brain to rethink about all those things in different ways.
I have noticed a lot of products at the grocery store going back to that, though.
Going back to what?
Really?
What? Yeah.
Really?
So I had a buddy
on measurements.
I had a buddy in undergrad who was a tennis player who was recruited from Norway. So he lands at MSP. He takes the drive down to Frat Row, and they bring him to Subway. And he gets in a Subway and it said 12 inches, foot long or 6 inches. He had no idea.
No idea.
So he says, the rest of the world, they're not on the system, you guys.
That
dumb son of a bitch ordered a 3-kilometer sub.
Yeah, well played.
He had no idea what he was doing.
Well played.
Is it meter and half meter over there?
For subs?
Oh, no, that's not even right.
That's way too much.
What's the equivalent of a foot?
Be a center. They would do it in centimeters, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Foot in metric system. Yeah, they don't even have a equivalent of a foot.
Yeah, but that's Ben's point. Is the rest of the world thinks we're insane for picking a random number to make a foot. Right, because, again, not to go Bargatze on it, not to go SNL on it, but, why would a foot be 12 inches? Shouldn't it be 10?
Everything should be
even if we we still use the base 10 for our math. We should still have multiples of 10. Why did we pick 12?
Just to be different.
A foot should be 10 inches, not 12 inches.
Yeah,
I mean, all that skit did was highlight how ridiculous it was. They're like, no, we're not going to do anything that you guys used to do. We're going to start our own country, and we're going to do our own thing. But there's no rhyme and reason behind it. It's just confusing.
I want a 30-centimeter long. What?
That's an evergreen statement.
Yeah, button bar.
Or I want a 15-centimeter long. Whatever. I don't
button
care.
Bar.
Hey, whatever works for you, dude.
Yeah, do you, man.
Wow. You surprised, though? 30 centimeters aren't that big.
They're not.
They're like 1/100th of a meter.
If I were to guess, how many centimeters in a foot, I would have guessed it would have been more than 30. But that's what those rulers had.
Correct.
Wow. I'm learning. See, we learned another thing today.
Yeah.
See, if you look in medical terms, they do a lot of things in centimeters. So,
I think it's all in centimeters.
So, yeah, if you, I don't know, did you tear something as a ligament or anything like that? A scan.
A scan. Yes.
They would say, oh, you've got a 4-centimeter tear in your labrum.
They did not. They have not converted.
They have not converted.
Uh-huh.
And then in your mind, you're like, what is 4 centimeters?
You're getting your phone out.
Yeah.
What is this again?
How big is that?
Yeah.
Sauce, weren't you recently diagnosed as having a 4-centimeter tear as well?
Well, your wife's about to.
Whoa.
Unless her cervix doesn't get ripened by the balloon.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the countdown now to the cervix ripening?
It's the final countdown. So we've learned 2 things today. That fingers don't have muscles and that there are cervix ripening balloons. Didn't know that existed until this morning.
So fingers are only just pulleys.
I guess, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's all in the
tendons, right?
Yeah, the palm.
It's essentially, they're just puppets. Yeah, they're marionettes.
Interesting.
They're not controlling themselves.
So the strength of your fingers comes from the muscles that pull the tendons in your wrist and forearm? Is that right?
And palm.
It's all in your palm and your...
They don't even have a mind of their own, so I can't blame it on...
The rain.
Yeah.
You got to blame it on something, though.
Is that the end, Zach?
Yeah, we should probably go to Halvy. What?
All right, well, we'll do sports in a second. We'll talk with Flash and Ben again about some football after this. Sauce can walk us through some other sports as well. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on The Fan.
Time now for the Vikings Report, presented by Halvy, the official grocery partner of the Minnesota Vikings. Linebacker Jonathan Grenard joins the Power Trip next, thanks to Halvy.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Coming out with the Power Trips, Max Fuller. Tomorrow, Friday the 27th at Casper's in Eagan for a Wolves watch party. Get there at 7 o'clock to watch your Timberwolves in action and to sign up for your chance to qualify for first round playoff tickets next year. Get the full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around, experts in decking, roofing, and siding.
The Minnesota Vikings battle the Packers on Sunday at 3:25. Pregame is at 1:30 right here on the Fan, and the Packers are currently a 1-point favorite.
Ben, Flash, help us out there. Like we said earlier, obviously the Packers are capable of winning this game, right? I'm not saying this is we're going to blow them out. It's probably close to a toss-up. I just don't understand, as trivial as it is, that they're favored by 1.
Yeah.
How are the Vikings
home
not
field
favored?
alone, right?
I don't understand
I don't get it. Although I did a little bit of number crunching, and I think that we're all thinking that there's a quality maybe of win point differential that just seems like the Packers are playing a little bit better than the Vikings right now. So peep this, guys. In the last 6 games, the Vikings have an average win margin of 9 points. Packers, even though they have a 3-point loss to the Lions in there and the blowout from the other day, 16-point differential, even with the loss. So I don't know. Maybe that's what Vegas is looking at. Is they're looking at these games, the last handful, and they're like, they're just beating teams a little bit more decidedly, and they seem like they're maybe in more control than we are. I don't know.
Could be.
That's about the only theory that I can come up with, because we have a lot of good things going for us, and we're playing at our stadium in a primetime game.
And the win, if Green Bay wins, there's
really nothing.
Yeah,
no,
they change,
can't.
Right?
I don't think they can mathematically win the NFC North.
So there's not a lot of motivation there.
They are only going for just a higher seeding for the wild card.
Yeah, we could be the 6th seed. They could be the 5th seed.
So kind of a wash.
But we control our destiny when it comes to getting the first round bye.
We are motivated. So on top of all the statistics, we are motivated to win.
For sure.
They shouldn't be as much. They've maybe had a larger margin of victory. We've also won, is it 8 in a row?
8 straight.
Yeah.
I know.
It seems crazy.
Christian Watson possibly playing this weekend. It sounds like they got relatively good news. No structural damage on his left knee. So according to Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, quote, "We got good news on him." So it looks like he might play against the Vikings on Sunday.
And is it, did I see this report correctly, that Jair's he's back too?
He was a full participant yesterday.
He's not even he's 100% go on the injury report.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're getting healthier in the back end of their defense, which, that was a big question mark, was just, can we take advantage of their secondary, which, having him back, I don't know. There might be some Packers out there that are like, I'm tired of him. Maybe not as good as everybody thinks he is, going off of name recognition.
He's
always hurt. Doesn't necessarily give us a huge boost. I don't know. He's still competitive, though.
We can rerun this back here in a segment when we do Vikings news. But what about Ivan Pace? How big of an impact would that be if he's actually back by Sunday?
Pretty big.
And are we trending that way?
Well, they opened his window, and I would think that he plays.
Probably limited play, but probably plays, right? It's a hammy.
He was a hammy.
I mean, geez.
He was a full participant at practice.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a hammy is one of those things. If you warm the thing up and go, the worst thing to do, right, is to go run a couple series and then sit.
Well, that's the thing. I think if he's up for the game, he's playing 100%. I don't think they would put him on a pitch count at this point in time.
Yeah.
And you know how hammies are. Hammies are very tricky. My guess is that they put him on the 4-game IR just because they're like, okay, we know it's at least 2 weeks. And then it's going to be another week before we get it conditioned into playing a game of football. I bet you he was probably good to go like
last week, maybe?
Maybe last week is my guess.
The Chiefs crushed Pittsburgh 29-10 to secure the number 1 seed. And as we talked about earlier, they don't play a meaningful game until the middle of January. So they will, who knows how they'll attack this. But yeah, the AFC path to the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. And then the Ravens smoked the Texans 31-2.
Back to the Chiefs game. They won 29-10 over the Steelers. And then they had this big Christmas celebration in the locker room where they basically gifted each other home field advantage, right? Mm-hmm. And then 16 hours ago, Sauce tweeted, "Can't wait for them to lose."
I can't. I'm tired of them. It was like the Patriots 10 years ago. It was like the Rams 20 years ago. I'm just tired of it.
Yep. Same.
Tired of it.
Agree.
It's one of the weirdest things in sports, and we all experience this. I got sick of Jordan and the Bulls in the 90s, right? They won all the time. It gets old. It's weird how much we love greatness, but then we all hit a breaking point where we're like, that's enough greatness.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
I've had enough of seeing greatness because they're about to do something that no one has ever done.
I hope not.
No one has ever won 3 consecutive Super Bowls, but it is weird how the whole world is turning on them, being like, I don't want to watch it again.
Yeah. I feel like they've wrapped up the AFC the earliest they ever have, though, which might hurt them.
I mean, it could be a long time not to play meaningful football.
I think they'll pull everyone off. I mean, they'll play a little bit, but they're not playing 4 quarters, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
And
so that could hurt them.
At Denver in week 18.
Has something to play for, right? Denver is currently the 7th seed.
Yeah, they do.
So Denver has to keep winning. Well, maybe not, because the only team chasing them is the Colts. No, I don't. Well, then there's Cincinnati. Yeah, anyway, they will have something to play for.
Who's your AFC pick as of right now? Who comes out of the AFC?
I mean, I'd hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's Kansas City.
It has to be.
Although, I mean, the Bills beat them, and they've got to play them in Kansas City. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ravens lost to them week 1, 27-20. That is a completely different Ravens team.
It is.
They look good.
The Ravens are on fire.
Yeah.
They stomped out
crushed them
yesterday.
Yeah.
The Ravens and the Bills, man, are good, but the Bills barely beat the hideous Patriots this weekend. So it's
the only thing that I'm so like I feel defeated and pumping up Kansas City is they looked really good yesterday. I mean, it is. I think a lot of people looked at the Steelers and they said, like, you know, if there's a team that can physically maybe handle them, they're kind of trending in the right direction. Russell's playing better, and he's got that team sort of on the right track. And you start looking at their individual pieces on defense, like, well, you know, if Watt could take over. I'm like, there's a path to success and victory in the game, and they just stomped them.
Yeah,
Mr. Unlimited.
So. I look at the Ravens and I look at the Bills games in those potential matchups. I'm like, I don't know, man. If they played as well as they did yesterday, it might not be that much of a competitive game.
Yeah. I mean, AFC Chiefs versus the field.
I take the field.
You take the field?
Yeah, I would take the field too.
Just because it's a weird year, and I know they've lost one game in the last like 24 or something. What is it?
Yeah.
Didn't they win like 8 straight last year?
Yeah.
Going to the Super Bowl, and now they're 15-1. So maybe it's 23-1, and there's something like that in their last 24.
I think you are correct.
Man.
Yeah.
So it's hard to bet against them, but I don't know. I just don't think they're as dominant as they have been, despite their unbelievably dominant
games.
record. Right, a lot of close games. So I would take the field, but probably wouldn't feel great about it.
Now, not from an X's and O's, but just from just vote with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you choose the Ravens or the Bills? Who would you cheer for?
Cheer for?
Yeah, like who to use like who's the more likable team? Like who would you like? Oh yeah, I want that team to sort of come out on top.
I like both of them. Like I like cheering for Lamar and Josh Allen.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pick. I like both teams probably pretty equally. I don't have a reason to dislike either team. I'm trying to think of an a-hole on either team that I actively cheer against.
The Ravens secondary, I think, is concerning. That they've been up and down all year. I think the addition of Derrick Henry is a game changer.
But what I'm saying is, like, take the X's and O's out of it. Just from you just aesthetically like the players and the team and the organization, and the coaches. Like, I guess my larger point is, I feel like nationally everybody's tired of the Chiefs. Tired of them. For this, that, and the other. It could be the Kelsey, Taylor Swift stuff. It could be Mahomes and his voice and whatever. Like, it's just like we need something new.
Or the Bundle Rooski.
and your Nuggies.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
But if you had to choose to represent the AFC out of the other two teams, they're both really likable teams.
I think they are. I think they're both probably liked equally nationally.
Yes.
I think they're both really fun, super unique quarterbacks in their own different way. But the speed with Lamar is just like yesterday when he pulls that ball down and runs it. He's like the fastest receiver running back in the league. And then you have a 6'4", 250-pound running back, and then you have on the flip side, on Josh Allen, you have a guy that he's like a tight end playing quarterback.
It just feels like both of like Lamar and Josh both have the monkey on their back, that they both have that burden that they just got to get over. Mm-hmm. And whichever one of them does it, I think the country's going to be super pumped that they finally ripped the Band-Aid off and got it. So
I think Ty goes to the more tortured fan base, and I'm going to give
Buffalo.
That to Buffalo.
Yeah, I'd go Buffalo too.
That's fair.
If you think about it, if you look at the NFC, there's a chance that let's say 14-3 and a 12-5 Packer team are the 5 and 6 seed, and then you got the Commanders at the 7th seed. There is an opportunity that all of the lower seeds win their opening game, because we would go to Atlanta and possibly play a rookie quarterback, or we'd go to Tampa. Green Bay would go to the Rams, and Green Bay would probably have a pretty good chance to beat them. And then Washington would go back to Philly, where they can win, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be the back end of the NFC playoff teams are stacked compared to the,
what happens? So if all So could a lower they would host a game then the second round, right?
No,
you'd have the 1 seed would host and the 1 seed would, and the 4 seed would host.
The 1 seed would host the Commanders, and the Vikings would host the Packers.
Interesting.
So then let me ask you guys this. I love this. This is kind of a fun hypothetical as well. So we've talked about the 3 top teams in the AFC. Now let's just say that it's the Lions, it's the Eagles, and it's us, the NFC. Would you think if any potential matchup, the AFC is probably favored in the Super Bowl?
I don't see how the Chiefs could keep up with the Lions.
But it seems to me that the 3 strongest AFC teams versus any of the 3 strongest NFC teams are probably going to be favored.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Does that seem about right?
That seems right.
Yeah.
I think the Vikes would be dogs to all 3. I think a healthy Eagles squad would probably be pretty close to a couple of them. It's a good question.
It could also matter how you get there, right?
Well,
let's see someone in the NFC gets really hot. Could be our hometown team. And you walk through the playoffs, which would be amazing, right?
Be the best.
Right.
That's a little bit like, I think, this Green Bay spread. I think it's a little bit, what have you done for me lately, which was Vegas' scene. And then on the flip side, let's say the Ravens find a way to pull it out. So it's a little bit of the new regime. Maybe you do have an NFC team that actually is somewhat favored, but low single digits.
For sure.
At best.
Yeah. I mean, they still have to play the games out, and we'd have to, the eye test sort of gets reset, I think, once we get to the playoffs. But as of right now, it's kind of crazy to think this, as hot as we feel we are, and as good as we think that we are, and as good as like you're saying, Corey, when the Eagles are healthy with their running game and their defense playing, all this other stuff, and obviously with the Lions, if they could find a semblance of a solid defensive core amongst all of their injuries, that you would think that these are 3 pretty strong teams. But then you match them up against any one of the AFC teams, and you're like, well, the AFC just seems stronger.
Going to be really tempting if at any point, specifically in the Super Bowl, if the Chiefs are dogs, if anybody's going to give Mahomes points.
Yeah, which wasn't that last year?
That is, I mean, it feels like free money if you're going to give him 3 or 4 points to start the game, but we'll see like you said, we'll see what happens when we get there to see how healthy the 2 teams that are involved.
Is Washington officially in? Are they in?
I don't know if they're officially.
I don't think
they're not.
That seems like a team that, man, do they pull out a lot of games.
Because
I mean,
Philly
they're dangerous.
Is won their division, but right.
Yeah, Detroit's officially in, Philly's officially in, the Vikings are officially in, and the Packers are officially in.
Yeah. The Eagles would have to lose out, and Washington would have to win out, and I think the Commanders would win the division. But the Eagles playing the Cowboys and then the Giants. They're not losing to the Giants in the last game.
Yeah, Washington's all but in.
Yeah.
According to NFL.com, the Commanders are currently a 95% chance to make
I think
the
if they win Sunday, they're in. And they play Atlanta.
Yeah, well, they have a 2-game lead on the teams that are chasing. So my guess is they have to go 0-2, and other teams have to go 2-0, and there's tiebreakers involved. So it's Washington's getting in.
Yeah, I bet they finish with Dallas would be my guess.
Flash, can you stick around? Or you got to go?
Yeah,
What's the deal? All right, sweet. Let's do Vikings news when we come back. More of the Power Trim Morning Show after this.
Tom Pelissero.
Oh, that's right. And .com Tom. Tom Pelissero, thanks to Bell Bank. After this on the Fan.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, make the keyword contest a little more, and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contests. You should also note that our system is not working for video, so Tom's joining us on the phone.
Why not? That'll work. Thanks to Bell Bank. Tom Pelissero joins every week during the football season, and hopefully the Viking season still lasts another, almost 2 months. That would be nice. Hi, Tom.
How we doing?
We're doing really well. How was your Christmas? Everything good? Girls good?
Everybody is still asleep after, using a lot of outdoor toys indoor all day. And so I'm just walking around, seeing all the nicks in the walls and things I got to fix. It's always fun, morning after.
So I follow you on social media like most people here do. And I saw that your girls were putting on quite the performance. And then the last post that I saw, unless you updated it, I saw that you posted that one of the performers had stormed off the stage. And then I didn't see an update. Did the performance ever continue?
It did not. They were doing Wicked. We never got to Popular, my favorite song from the play. It was very solid, though. The choreography, the lighting, they've really upgraded over the years, the performance aspects. However, they still have, a lot of egos in that room in terms of the performers themselves. And so we got not quite through 2 songs, and that was the end.
That's the best. Before we get into football, there's a chance, because she's being induced tomorrow, there's a chance tomorrow Sauce is a dad. Any last-second advice for Sauce on being a father?
Well, I have a daughter whose birthday is today, so you're firmly in the matrix of right after Christmas. The biggest thing that I would emphasize is don't forget the birthday. Have stuff in advance, because you're not just going to find things, in the cabinet. So in terms of the birth and all that, just try to stay awake. That's your main job there. But in the future, having a kid this time of year, it's all about the planning and making sure they feel like they've got 2 distinct days.
Sweet.
Good advice.
Yeah, that is good advice.
Thanks, Tom.
I have no idea how Max and Chris, who are both Christmas Day babies, have done that. Christmas Day, it's almost impossible to make it feel like your birthday. You just got to double it up. But 26, 27, 28, sure. Separated.
Tom?
I was reminding my wife yesterday that it was, 8 years ago on Christmas, the Chiefs were playing on TV. I'm watching the game. She's clearly in labor, but refusing to allow herself to have a Christmas baby. So she's finishing Christmas dinner. I just keep hearing no, we're just getting through it. She powered through, and it was a December 26th instead. So it was a great performance of grit that day, I got to say.
12:01.
Wow.
Push!
Speaking of football, Tom, I'm not going to ask you gambling advice, but why are the Packers a 1-point favorite?
That's a great question. I hadn't even seen that line. They obviously played well the other night against a team that has no receivers and no offensive line and a rookie 5th-round quarterback. Listen, they're very good. The Packers are really talented. They're well coached. That defense has been, significantly better than it was a year ago. Why they would be favored in the game, I'm not sure. Obviously the Vikings have played a lot of close games. Packers have had 5 straight games where they've put up 30-plus points. You're always trying to set that line if you're the odds makers on what's going to cause people to bet on either side. I would think that by kickoff, some of that money might be swinging toward the Vikings.
Let me ask you this then, and this might be another tough question just because it's going to sound like it's a negative question, but I promise you it's not. So we were talking earlier just the strength of the top 3 teams in the NFC and then the AFC and all this other stuff, and yes, we're very excited about our Vikings and the possibilities in the playoffs, but What do you think? What area of the game do you think the Vikings really need to maybe just improve on, if that's the right word, going into the playoffs? Like, what would you like to see the Vikings do a little bit better to give themselves the best chances?
Well, I think just the consistency on offense, especially early in games. You don't want to have to be, having Sam Darnold throw on the run to a double cover Justin Jefferson to pull out these games. You'd like to think that, you're starting a little bit faster at times and you're sustaining it. I think that's like a lot of offenses in the league. There's not a lot of teams that are just going to go start to finish and, score touchdowns the majority of their drives. It's just not realistic in the NFL. I think that's the one thing. And if you ask Kevin O'Connell, it'd probably be the same thing, which is just, playing with a little bit more consistency. I mean, listen, the Vikings are playing, I would say, in my mind, above the level of the personnel that they have on defense. They've obviously benefited from, the signing of Jonathan Grenard and Van Ginkel and Cashman, bringing in Stephon Gilmore when he's been out there. Like, those have all helped, but, they're playing really well. And a big piece of that, I was talking to a coach the other day who had faced the Vikings who was just saying, Brian Flores is so dialed in with his calls. Like, all his calls are so sound in terms of, he studies all the analytics and he knows what the percentages are, and the way that he challenges you, you're never going to feel totally comfortable. You know what you're getting from them. Offensively, it's the same thing. I mean, Kevin's doing a really good job calling the game. Sam's obviously playing at, the highest level that he's played over these last handful of games in his career. I don't know that there's a big hole other than, I know Kevin's got the second best record of any head coach all time in one-score games. You also ideally would like to not live in one-score games, but, facing the Packers this week, going into the playoffs, the Lions in Week 18 as well, like, these are all going to be absolute street fights, and you got to find a way in those clutch moments to make the big plays.
Hey, if you were in charge of the Chiefs and you guys basically didn't play a meaningful game until the middle of January, how would you handle your lineup?
I wouldn't have anyone in personally. I know that Andy's one of the last coaches who really plays his guys in the preseason. Sometimes there's value in putting them out there, but that team's pretty beat up right now. I mean, nobody needs to tell with all the wide receiver injuries they've had this season. Now Pacheco, dinged up his ribs yesterday. Mahomes has been playing on a bad ankle basically the entire season. And no, he's not faking it, unlike every reply that I get on social media, when he gets folded up like a lawn chair and then, hobbles off the field. It's like, oh, he just got an ankle sprain. It's like, dude, he's injuring the same ankle over and over and over again. Chris Jones is now like, those guys need to rest. That's the biggest thing. They need the time. And really they've got, based on playing the unusual Wednesday game in Week 17, they've got more or less 3 full weeks because this coming week is, completely meaningless for them Week 18 game. Who knows? Again, Andy's put guys out there before. I would think under the circumstances, he's not playing them next week. Then you got the bye, and then you're really not, you probably have a bonus practice on like that following Monday, but you really aren't practicing in earnest until the following Wednesday. So 3 weeks off to get healed up, and then you're 3 wins away from a three-peat. There's a lot of number 3 symmetry in there, but it's also probably the best possible timing. Once everybody was looking at it, when Mahomes got beat up, it was like, oh man, they got all these games in a short period of time. Should they rest Mahomes? My thought on that was, no, you play him as long as he's functional, because if you win these next 2, you get this huge break. That's exactly how it played out, and they seem to, once again, after a season where they didn't look great for several months, they're finding it right when they need to.
Let's jump back. Sorry to sort of like ping pong back and forth between AFC and NFC talk, but I'm curious to get your opinion on this. We have focused a lot on the top 4 or 5 teams in the NFC, but there are some teams. There's 3 teams that are sort of quote unquote in the hunt. You've got the Rams, the Falcons, and the Commanders. Of those 3 teams, who do you think would be the team that nobody would want to see? Or maybe another way to look at it is like, of those 3 teams, who do you see making a big push in the playoffs?
I think the Rams are dangerous just because they've got Sean McVay and they've got Matthew Stafford. They're always going to be dangerous. And then the fact that they've done a really good job, no Aaron Donald now, but they've got 3 dudes that they've drafted over the last 2 years, between Kobe Turner, and Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, who are all playing outstanding football up front. So they're good enough defensively and offensively. I think they're dangerous. The Falcons, everybody looks at it as, benching Kirk, that fixed it. They went out and they won with Penix. Penix didn't have to do a lot. They played the worst team in the NFL. Let's see this week against a really good Commanders team, what exactly the Falcons are made of. And the Commanders, are just, they've got Jaden Daniels. Like, he has instilled this kind of belief in them. Another team that's gotten by, a couple of last-minute type wins. But when you have that guy who's such a playmaker and seems like nothing's too big for him, you got the opportunity to be dangerous. Of those three, I just would be worried about the Rams just because they have the coach and the quarterback who've been there before and won a Super Bowl together. But if you're asking me, who am I worried about if I'm the Vikings going on the road, if it's week one, again, there's different ways this thing could play out in terms of the seeding. But if they don't get the 1 and they end up as the 5 seed, I wouldn't want to be going to L.A., a team that already beat them once this season.
All right, random question, but we asked you a lot about the new NFL kickoff rules when the season started. About a week or so ago, I heard one of the broadcast teams say that the stat was something like last year 1 out of every 5 kicks was returned, and this year it's 1 out of every 4, which is not a great improvement if you ask me. Statistically, obviously, percentage-wise, that's a big jump, but in the big scheme of things, that's almost the exact same number. Is that enough, Tom, to move the meter? Like, do you think the owners and the competition committee is excited about 1 out of every 4 kicks being returned?
They're excited that the injury numbers are down and the return numbers are up. And this was a small step. Like, the NFL generally does these things incrementally. They don't swing all the way one direction. Because when they do, and they decide to make pass interference reviewable, it's a disaster for 1 year and they kill it. So at the kickoff, they kind of went with the in-between in terms of where they have the touchbacks come out to. They'll add another 5 yards to that, I believe, next season. That then will further disincentivize, you would think, some of the special teams coaches from just kicking the ball to the end zone. That'll lead to more hang time type kicks, trying to drop it into the landing zone. So this is one step. I think what you'll see is that further tweak to the rule next year, and then the numbers will go up again. The bigger issue they've got is the onside kick, which is, Troy Vincent called it at the meeting a couple of weeks ago a dead ceremonial play, which is the same thing he said about the kickoff itself last year. They have to have some way that's a little higher percent. It's not like 50-50, but right now it's like 4%. You got to have a little bit better chance for a team to mount a comeback late in games. And so I think that that's something they're going to address. Is it going to be the 4th and 20 alternative? I know there's a lot of people who would like to see that. In my mind, that's getting really close to I don't want to say gimmicky, but it's getting a little bit further away from the baseline, the tapestry of the game. So I would like to see, are there other things they can do? Reinstitute, some type of a running start, alignments. Maybe you can have heavier alignments and things like that. That's the bigger issue to me. The kickoff itself, they've got a plan for that, and it's a multi-year plan. The onside kick, they've been looking at this, for a while now, and ever since they eliminated the running start, it just hasn't been effective.
Tom Pelissero, thanks to Bell Bank. I just want to say thank you for handling all of our cornucopia of questions here. I mean, we have hit you with a lot here. The last one for me, and this was just a ridiculous one because I was standing right there, maybe 15 yards away from when this happened. The Justin Jefferson gritty that got flagged. I mean, is there any more insight onto why that was deemed taunting just because he looked in the direction of an opposing player? Were things said? Like, do we have any more idea and clarity on why that particular gritty was flagged and others aren't?
I missed it in real time because I was in Green Bay. I've since seen it, and I've seen the other ones. There was one flagged yesterday with Xavier Worthy who got flagged. The things that they're looking for are anything that resembles a weapon and anything that resembles, taunting, pointing in the direction of an opponent. Those are both you would think that they're bright lines, but they're really not. There's a subjectivity. I know there's, the whole thing where DBs now, they show that, they got you on lock by showing their seatbelt, which looks a lot like the I'm pulling up my jersey to show you I've got a gun in my belt. And so, that's something looked at it every time I see it. I'm like, I wonder which one that is. And the referees are just kind of guessing on that. It's the same thing with, is he pointing or is that a gun? Is he pointing at the guy or is he pointing past the guy? It's difficult, man. Like they're trying not to have anything be resembling weapons. They're trying not to have, incidents occur in a game that are going to escalate tensions. And you're going to end up in an absolute fist fight. But they miss as many as they get. It's never going to be a perfect type of thing. But listen, you can blame the officials all you want, but they're clearly getting directives from the NFL. Hey, these are the things you should be looking for. If you think you see them, throw the flag. If it's wrong, well, that gives us more data to look back at, and be able to draw some of the lines of what's a foul and what's not. I tend to come down on the side of flag less as opposed to more, but there are certain things that the officials are told to look for, and obviously they're throwing the flags right now.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man. Have a good New Year's.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
You too.
That's Tom Pelissero. Thanks to Bell Bank every Thursday on the Power Trip, Zachary.
That's right, Corey. And again, we keep mentioning throughout the season, Bell Bank giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. This week's winner was Sam Swanson. He chose Williams Wardrobe. Williams Wardrobe gently and deliberately serves practical support and resources to help ease the all too real daunting weight of congenital heart defect on patients, families, and staff in the CVICU. That's williamswardrobe.org for more information. Congrats to Sam and Williams Wardrobe, and thank you, Bell Bank.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, I keep asking because I think that kickoff thing is just dead. I hate every second.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It's just unwatchable.
Yeah.
Onside kicks suck. The kickoff sucks.
But the injury point, though, is true, though. I think the rule's just to remove the injuries, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that has been successful. Is it dynamic, which is the name of it? No.
I think they just have to make it a little bit more punitive to field a touchback. And to kneel it and all that other stuff. Like, they have to do a better job of encouraging the returns. I think the setup does allow for less injuries just because there's less full speed head-to-head collisions. But the one thing that has to change is this declaring of the onside kick. That is just ridiculous. I mean, come on, you guys. I mean, I do understand if you're going to set up in an obvious moment, I mean, you don't have to declare anything. We all know that you're going to try to onside kick. But the surprise onside is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Did you play in the era of the wedge?
Yes.
Yeah, the wedge was sweet because it was mostly always Jimmy Kleinsusser. I mean, I didn't have to play it, but the wedge was such a weird thing that they allowed.
But now you're a part of the Vikings radio broadcast, and it's no offense, but it sucks when PA's like, boom! To nothing.
Yeah. I know.
It's supposed to be exciting. The game's starting. He drops the boom, and then we don't do anything.
I get it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Bring the wedge back.
Yeah, bring the wedge back.
I do wonder if there is a possibility to do that now that guys are not running from 40 yards away. I think that there's a way that you can start getting two-man wedges back.
Yeah. Remember the onside kick wedge?
No.
Where the guys would run to the center, where the center of the field, where the kicker was kicking the ball, they would clear the way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so dangerous.
Yeah.
So dangerous.
Bring that back.
8 o'clock hour will feature headlines, Fan 5, and more. Flash, how long can you stay? Can you stay or what?
Yeah, let's stick around.
Do you have anything to do today?
No,
Are you
the
busy?
26th, dude.
For God's sakes. Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee, so you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
Hey, Meta, call Eva.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.